Hello everyone, this is Wasim and today I am here in one of the parks in Frankfurt, and I thought to make this video about like what are the total expenses that students usually have here. There are several different categories, but the one that I think that nobody has talked about in several videos that I have seen is where can we actually save money, and what are some of the tips and tricks, what are some of the mechanisms that we can apply to save money, because as a student even 50 euros or 100 euros is a huge deal. So I will focus more on where we are gonna save money. So the first expense and the major expense will be your accommodation, and it's gonna be a headache for most of us and for most of the people who are gonna come. I wish it would not. So if you're in a smaller city, you're gonna spend around 300-400 euros a month. If you're lucky, you could also spend 250. And if you're in a bigger city like Frankfurt, Munich or Berlin, then you are gonna probably spend around 500 euros a month. And these extra 200 euros, this is what you should focus on saving. I know students who are living in Frankfurt and they're spending 300 euros a month. And if I am spending 500 euros a month, this means like I am spending extra 200 euros, which is like around 2000 euros a year. And it's a huge amount being as a student. So my advice for you is look for the accommodation which is less than 500 euros, but do not compromise on the amenities that you want. If you want a separate washroom or a separate kitchen, or if you want to live near your university, whatever is important for you, just do not compromise on that. So this is the first expense that everybody is gonna have, and that is the accommodation. And for accommodation, I have a separate video in which I have explained how can you actually find a good accommodation, and there is another video that I have shown you an apartment here in Frankfurt, and we have talked about in detail how you can get a student accommodation here. So now let's talk about the second major expense, and the second major expense is the insurances that you're gonna pay to the government. The number one is your health insurance, which would be around 100 to 140 euros depending upon if you are privately insured or if you are publicly insured. If you are less than 30 years old, then you are supposed to get public insurance, and if you are above 30, then public insurance gets very costly, which is around 270 euros a month, and which is highly not advisable unless you have chronic diseases. There is one trick here to save yourself a lot of money, but it comes with its risks. You have to sign a document stating that you voluntarily give up this right of publicly insurance, and then you can get insurance with private insurance companies, which is way less. Like Mavista is around 38 or 40 euros a month, which is way less than 140 euros a month. So you're gonna save 100 euros, but it depends upon if you want to take this risk or not. The second insurance that you're gonna pay is the radio tax. It's around 18, 19, 20 euros a month. So this will be 200 or 240 euros a year expense for you guys. Apart from this, what I highly recommend is the liability insurance. It's gonna cost €3, €4, €5. You can get a very good insurance, and it's very important here because sometimes here in Germany, if you have caused significant damage to property or in any other way to someone without knowing, and the bill is in thousands of euros, then your insurance company is gonna pay for that. And it's very important and highly recommended by everyone. So in total, you could expect to spend around 60 euros total in all of your insurances to something around 300 euros in your insurances. This all depends upon what are your requirements, how are you insured, and what choices have you made. Your radio tax can be divided if you are sharing the apartment with some of the other persons. This means you are living in a WG. That could be then lowered. Your health insurance could be lowered if you are privately insured, and this would significantly decrease your total expenses. But it totally depends upon you. If you are, not comfortable with being privately insured because it's not the best insurance, because when you are publicly insured you do not have to pay anything at all. And if you are prone to diseases or if you have something specific going on medically, then it's highly recommended that you should have a public insurance. So there are many dogs here. Lots of cycling tracks, and there is a restaurant inside also, a cafe place. Well, the third category of the expenses is all the replenishable items that usually everybody needs for a month, for example grocery, and it's also very subjective, but on average I guess like around 150 to 200 euros grocery is a normal one. Here there are two different categories of taxes, sales taxes that you pay on the grocery items. Daily items are taxed 9%, and the items which are not daily usable and they are kind of a personal choice, for example cold drinks or your cosmetics etc., they are gonna cost 19% extra as a sales tax. So if you just remember these things, so it could help a bit. And then there are several different branches. For example, there is Rewe, there is Lidl, Aldi, Penny, and so many others. And comparing the prices among the all of these could give you an idea like what exactly do you need and where it is the cheapest one. And another thing that I learned is like if you stick to one, then you can have their reward bonuses, and that can actually help you. For example, I always go to Rewe and I have that Rewe app, and every week in the beginning they publish like which items would be discount for the next week. So all in all, we have talked about the accommodation, which is roughly 500 euros, and then your insurances, which is could be from 50 euros to 200, and then your grocery costs, which could be from 150 to 200 euros. The number fourth one is your miscellaneous expenses, that could be dining out, that could be, for example, buying some stuff. For example, you may need some clothes, you may need stationery items, or you go out for watching movies or something. So we will add around 50 euros for them, and these are the expenses that can easily be minimized, and they are not constant. For example, one month you could have 30 euros and the other month you could have 0, third month you could have 100. So it all depends on that. One suggestion that I want to give is like, I have seen few cases in which people who have a bank account and they have some money in it, the bank was suddenly frozen, and they said like, due to some reasons we have to close your bank account. So my suggestion is to not always put all of your eggs in one basket. If it's possible, you should have some cash with you for some uh, cold days, and you should not put all of your money in one account. Now let's talk about some of the very important tips and tricks through which we can actually save money. What I learned is that students have unique discounts everywhere, even if you do not have student ID, and even if you are not registered there. You can just go to the store. Do not forget to always ask them like, you want a student discount. I remember getting student discount from places where nobody thought. They, at the end, like, I bought something for 100 euros and it was already discounted, but while just few seconds before paying, I just told them like, there must be some student discount. They said no, we don't have any student discount, but I just said this, so that person was like, okay, we will give you 5 euros discount, which may not look bigger, but if you get 5 euro discount on 10 things, then that's 50 euros. Then there are certain websites which I will mention in the description. You must have subscription there. They are free of cost, but they will give you discount to several different outlets. For example, Flixbus, for example, Apple. So you will always find discounts there. It's uni days, and you must have a student enrollment for them to give you access to their website. Apart from them, if you're working in a good company, for example, I worked with Siemens, so they have corporate benefits which are very huge. I am planning to travel very soon, and they gave me 10 to 12% discount on Qatar Airways, which was not huge, but saving 20-30 euros from one of your bigger expense can, eventually would lead to hundreds of euros saved. So always ask your employers like, if there is some specific discount for you in certain areas. Number 3, there is always discount from your insurances. For example, if you have paid for your insurance for the whole year around 150 euros a month and you haven't used that insurance, you could always write an email to them and ask them like, if there is some payback or some cashback for this. So probably there will be, and then you can get 100, 200, 300 euros also back from them. Combining all of these things, I guess you could save around 1000 euros a year, which is a huge thing. If you put them one by one, they may look tiny, like, why would I save some money on grocery, and why would I save some money on 10 euros on 700 euros ticket. But ultimately at the end of the year, it's gonna save you much more than few bucks. The sounds of birds. You can still probably hear a bit of traffic noise, which is, I think, a bit bad. I hope so you guys have enjoyed the video, and if there is any question, if you want any suggestion, you can ask me in the comment section and I will try to answer, and we will see each other in the next video.